Good evening.
Hello.
We are out of the country-to-country bubble.
We've survived. It's been crazy. I ended up being a dirty stop out last night, so I got home at 10:30 this morning. And yeah, spent a lot of the day in bed, sort of looking at the mountain of washing that I had to do, and it's like, oh, I should probably deal with that. And then equally, oh, I've got a load of interviews that we did last week, which we might get onto a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just like, nah. And then so I sort of plucked up the courage to get to life this afternoon. Spoke to Sam Outlaw, which was really cool. And yeah, we're there. We're 360 days to go until C2C 2023.
So there really is like 4 days in March where the outside world just kind of disappears, it feels like. I found out this morning, apparently Tom Brady's not retired anymore.
Yeah, that was like, I was waiting to get the bus back to like where I ended up staying last night. And it's like, I was just scrolling through Twitter, and obviously Twitter is not the best source for first-hand information, like when you learn at university that how Wikipedia isn't, because obviously everything that you believe and read on Facebook and Twitter is 100% true. But to be fair, seeing that, like, you know, Rappaport and Schefter were sharing that Brady's come back out of retirement and Bruce Arians is now the happiest man in the world.
And I also found out Fulham didn't win this weekend. I've really like being in such a bubble that I've really just not paid attention.
Well, I unfortunately escaped the bubble to experience football over the weekend because on Saturday night I watched Spurs get beat by Ronaldo hat-trick. But yeah, onwards and upwards for football. Yay, go
So
sport.
we are out of the bubble then for another year.
Yeah.
Back to the real world today.
Yeah, I'm back to the real world tomorrow because I knew I was going to be hanging today. So it's just like, I'm not making that mistake again. So yeah, so I haven't done much. Got to go back to the office tomorrow. And then we've got stuff going on this week too. It's still like crazy because you're going to see Tebe and
Jess Moskaluk tomorrow night. So yeah, this is my night off. I get one night off in between it all.
Yeah. Not just that, you also get to see Emma and Jolie as well tomorrow night, who I've seen that they're going to be at.
But that one was not on the details I got sent. I got told Jess Moskaluk and Tebe. I was like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah, so I saw in their like socials that they're part of they're opening the thing that's tomorrow night. And then on Thursday's my play night of the week because I'm going to O'Meara to see Sam Outlaw and Ruthie Collins, which is going to be cool. So excited about that. I may go and see them again on Saturday because they're playing at Cole Shelton, like, which is like a really sort of random place for a gig, like having two London shows, one at O'Meara and one like right sort of down my way,
down the street.
Yeah, so that's cool. But
so we would have had Willie Jones tomorrow night, wouldn't we? That one's obviously been cancelled as he didn't come over.
Yeah. But yeah, I reckon we kind of do like the sort of formal kind of news sort of bit because otherwise it's going to go complete another car crash when we're going to talk for hours and hours and we'll forget to do it.
Now, I've already said to Jamie, I have zero clue of music that came out on Friday. I know, I'm not going to lie, I did not tell you one person who released a song on Friday.
I don't know much. I know the only two I know. Jeremy Ivey put his Invisible Pictures album out. That came out on Friday, and I knew that because we spoke to him the other week, and I think it's a really cool record. So that's a great one. And also, the Shires put out an album on Friday, which I haven't listened to. But it was the biggest surprise in the history of the world, which leads in as a massive tangent to what we're going to talk about completely. The Shires did a surprise pop-up show on Sunday at C2C, and there were lots of people queuing because they obviously thought that the Shires are wonderful and decided that rather than seeing the BCMA duo/group of the year that beat the Shires, Morgan Way, on the main stage, they would go and stand in a queue to get into the Indigo and probably not get in. But that was that. And yeah, so C2C, done and dusted. The kind of big news from them post that is on Friday, 18th of March, which, so if you're listening to this, watching this like well in advance, it's already been, but if you're not, you're hearing it when we put out. The pre-sale tickets for London and Glasgow are going on sale this week for the dates of the 10th to the 12th of March 2023.
Amsterdam and Berlin have also said they are back on next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, that's my trip sorted.
Winner. Oh, that's really good, because I know there was quite a lot. Like, I knew like some Dutch fans, and I kind of met some Germans kind of over the weekend that sort of come over, because obviously they didn't have their version of the festival this year. They had it in 2020 when we didn't.
Yeah.
So they can't really complain too much. But
yeah, I definitely didn't get to Berlin, honest.
Yeah, but as well as that, we've had like the World and their wife have like announced shows and tours coming forward this year. I wasn't entirely sure which ones had already been announced, but I sort of just went through. So Keith Urban's here in April and May. His London dates at the Apollo on May the 6th. Paul McDonald, Ashley Campbell, Barry James are doing their Vacancy Records tour through May, and the London shows at Camden Assembly, formerly known as Barfly, May the 12th. Midland are here in May, the tour that's been rearranged, postponed about 700 bazillion thousand times. So it'll be great for those boys to finally get over. Roundhouse, May 21st. Obviously, that people are playing at other venues, but we sort of live in London, so it's just what I've got in my diary. It's easy to kind of do. Then after that, Buckle and Boots, the 2nd to the 5th of June. Matt Lang, American Young, Julia Cole, Dan Davidson, William Michael Morgan, loads of other people. So that'll be great to get back up to the farm, see Gary and Team Hancock again. Then after that, Black Deer, 17th to the 19th, which again has already been announced. Wilco, Van Morrison, the Dead South. Also, just kind of time out that someone's just texted me that someone I've not put to mention that we need to get to you later. But anyway, perfect. Great timing, Lucy, who's keeping continually texting me. But anyway, so Black Deer's then. Morgan Wade, amazing. She's doing her own dates in June, 21st at the Garage. Tennille Archer's here in July. She's not got a London date, but she's playing Tennessee Fields in Chelmsford. I had a good chat with Georgie over the weekend and stuff. And Georgie is hopefully going to come and join us on the podcast in the coming weeks. Yep, she was like, I want to come on. And I'm like,
she does realise this is generally unscripted. I know we say it is, but there is nothing.
I genuinely said, it's like, we seriously have no idea what we're doing. We intended to make it last 10 minutes, and it goes on forever. And as you can see, like, even though I've written shit down, like, completely gone off the rails. So that's Tennessee Fields in July. Morgan Evans has a random show, or not so random show. It's at Lafayette.
Yeah, so he's supporting Brad Paisley.
That's correct.
I didn't realise this. I was trying to suss why is he playing one random show, but yeah, so Brad Paisley's not playing London. He's playing Glasgow.
There's a Glasgow show on the 15th of July, which again, I know because I've written down, which is amazing. Then kind of once you get into August, September, it's all the long road stuff going on where, some great people playing there. Chris Young, Priscilla Block, who I definitely wanted to see more of at C2C, which again, we'll come back to later. Lindsay L, Lauren Elena, Cassie Pope, kind of everyone, kind of all that. And Marty Stewart and Sarah Evans, who I'm really looking forward to seeing. They've got some UK shows in addition to Long Road. Because I know some of the people that play in Long Road are also doing Millport too. So Marty Stewart's playing the Indigo.
Before Long Road, isn't it? So the week before.
Marty Stewart's playing the Indigo on the Long Road Friday. So if you're going to the Long Road, you won't be able to see Marty Stewart at the Indigo in London, but he's got some other dates. And Sarah Evans is playing the Union Chapel on the 2nd of September. And I cannot think of a more perfect venue for her to be playing, like in London, that's amazing. Then, in addition to that, the last ones we've got announced, the star of Country to Country 2022, Russell Dickerson.
Yes.
He is playing October.
Because that one was only announced, that was announced Thursday, wasn't it? So literally just before.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of people that were kind of sort of saying, because I know, like, when we get to the pieces that will come out, Caitlin Smith is also planning dates later in the year. She hasn't kind of announced them yet, but I know that a lot of kind of other people are. And another highlight of C2C actually this weekend just gone, Tennille Towns. She's also just announced, I think last week, some UK dates, and her London show somewhere I haven't been in ages, actually. Obviously not been anywhere for ages because of the pandemic, but even pre that. So she's playing at Scala.
Yeah, I think I saw Hunter Hayes was maybe the last person I saw there.
I remember that was where Nico Moon and Zach Brown,
yes,
Sir Roosevelt.
Yeah, I was at that gig. I was there.
Mate, that's a random bit of knowledge. How I plucked that out of there to remember who that was. Considering I didn't even go to the gig as well. That's even more.
I went to that one. There's two you've forgotten so far. I know you're still going.
Go on.
I've got down. Rose Osborne are another one without a million rearrangements.
Yeah.
And the one that's kind of snuck in is Casey Musgraves.
She announced she's playing at like Hampton Court.
She's playing Hampton Court and she's on the Glastonbury lineup.
She's on the Glasgow bill, which is like sick. I'm pretty sure there's like, I don't know if I've imagined there's like a Brett Eldridge tour as well.
There is a Brett Eldridge tour again. I'm sure that's one that's been rearranged from various points.
So so there's plenty of music to keep people occupied. So obviously once everyone buys their C2C pre-sale tickets on Friday for the event taking place on the 10th to 12th of March 2023, you're going to need something to occupy yourself. So we'll probably write a post just so it's kind of easy to find on the site with like,
some dates. There's loads, There's so much coming up to keep us all amused.
Yeah. And the other sort of kind of album news, it's not been released, but she played C2C on Friday, headline Miranda has announced her next studio album, Palomino, which is coming out on the 29th of April. We got to hear two songs that she'd never played live before that are coming off that record on Friday night. If I Was a Cowboy, another one called Acting Up, which Acting Up I really liked. It was cool. So we've got new Miranda on the way. And we've only took 12 minutes to get to the point before we start talking about C2C. So who knows how long
Haven't even started talking about the weekend that was.
Well, I say Ian came up on Saturday and was there on Friday night. I went completely off the rails, started doing things on Wednesday, had the whole day in town on Thursday, songwriters Thursday night. Was there Friday, went into the arena Friday night and was up during the day Saturday and Sunday, but I didn't do the arena on Saturday and Sunday. I had a ticket for Saturday night that I bought, kind of gave it to my friends because I was having a bit of a Poe kind of sort of afternoon. Like I said, I went and saw Spurs, which made me feel even worse. Then ate pizza.
So I had major fear of missing out on Friday night and decided at, what was it, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock?
It was literally after. Yeah.
I think I dismissed my class and I texted Jamie, I was like, yeah, I'm coming. So I quickly jumped on AXS, got a ticket for Friday night, straight on the train, and literally we got there, just as Russell Dickerson was coming.
We walked in just as Russell was coming on stage, so we missed the introducing Nashville round of Priscilla Block, Tiara and Morgan Wade, and also whoever was first on the spotlight stage. We didn't kind of get in to see them either. But we're gonna start on Friday night. Russell Dickerson, how that guy is not regarded so much more as the best entertainer and
the energy on stage was just
man, he was it was great, and he brought out the surprise guest for Friday, which was a big surprise guest. So Charles Kelly from Lady A, he was over and sort of jumped on with Russell D, and that whole R&D party was incredible. And he also hosted the songwriter, basically, part of the songwriters round. He's kind of the MC going through it for the CMA Songwriters Series on Thursday at Indigo, which that was a brilliant night. I really enjoyed it. It's always my highlight of the festival, going there. So it was Luke Dick, who premiered a brand new song called I Am Steve, was generally the song title.
Okay, different.
Yeah. So it was when they were just sort of doing random songs, and he's just like, I spoke to a guy, and it's like, hey, who are you? He's like, I'm Steve. And he just wrote a song about it, which was pure genius. And my friend Steve, initially, when he was talking about it, it's like, I'm Steve, I'm Steve, I'm Steve. And by the end of the song, that it just has the line, I am Steve, quite a lot in it. Absolutely hated it, which is pure genius. But he was great. Caitlin, I think Caitlin Smith was a lot of people's major discovery of the weekend.
Yeah, she was a name I didn't really know. And even when she played the songs, I didn't know many of the songs either. So yeah, for me, that was definitely I think it probably, she's probably a name for many just went under the radar and no one probably looked twice at. But I think now she's like, going to be a name that people will know.
She's just like a monster songwriter. When you look through her back catalogue of who she's wrote for like, Cuts by, Wasting All These Tears, Cassidy Pope, Heart of Dixie, Danielle Bradbury, 747, Lady A, Tacoma, which she played in pretty much every set she did over the weekend, which Garth cut, Like I'm Gonna Lose You, which she wrote with Meghan Trainor and then Meghan cut with John Legend, High, which Miley Cyrus has recently put out and is going to be the title track off her upcoming EP. And we've got a really cool chat that I had with Caitlin on Thursday morning. That'll be kind of on the way really soon. So yeah, she was great at the songwriters. I saw her, I think, 3 more times over the weekend as well, because I just think she's amazing. I think her voice is incredible, and it's crazy how it's taken her so long to sort of be new artist of the year nominated. Like she was at the ACMs. It's nuts.
And clearly Jamie knew she was going to be the big thing this weekend by doing the interview with her, sitting down Thursday morning before this all took off.
Yeah, well, definitely. It was the thing, as soon as it was announced by her publicist here that they were looking after Caitlin, it's like, yes, please, 100%, because she's just such a warm and wonderful person, great storyteller. And I saw her Sunday morning, really early doors. Saw her in the town square.
Well, was it her who was on at 10:30? Because I think I saw a lot of that on socials.
Yeah, so because I was a massive follower on Instagram, when I was sort of going around. So Caitlin was on first on Sunday, and the Morgan Way were on after. But I saw her on Friday afternoon as well, and we also saw her as part of a really cool little Sony event that Tennille Towns was hosting as well, that also included Alex Hall on Saturday afternoon. And as well, the songwriters, Shy Carter,
yes,
who is incredible bundle of energy. I'm pretty sure that anyone that saw him over the weekend either thought he's the best thing to be happening to country music ever, or looking at him and it's like, what is this man doing? And it's just his energy is so cool. He's just so great to watch. Just what he sort of does, and again, a guy that's written hit after hit after hit. We caught him on Saturday morning. Yeah, at the Indigo. So he was cool. I didn't really know a huge amount about him, but some people have said he was really great, and I'll say I dig what he did. I think it's great for people that do different things in country music. And then the last seat, the 5th seat of the CMA Songwriters round, they put in a revolving chair. So the first round I'll come back to because they're going to be my replacement pick when we redo the draft. Then Morgan Wade came on for a song, Tierra came on for a song, and Priscilla Block kind of at the end as well. So that was really cool that they took the opportunity for introducing new artists. So that was Thursday. So naturally, obviously, starting talking about Friday and jump back to Thursday is, and then now jump back to Friday and then talking about Saturday in between as well is, again, how unhinged things go. So after Russell Dickerson, on the spotlight stage, a guy I think every single person at the festival is now like the biggest fan of and like wants to be best friends with. He ended up actually being stood by where we were during the songwriters on Thursday night as well. So I got to, just got to say hello briefly because his management team's one of the guys on there's a good friend of ours. So kind of he was up there on Thursday night with Brendan, got to say hey. But Breland, that man is a star, a genuine star. He's so likable. He's what he does with his, musically is so cool. It's so different. And again, it's seeing people that are bringing all these different elements into country music is incredible. And I think we're going to be seeing him here a lot more. And I think people in the States are going to be seeing him a lot more because that guy's going to be a huge star.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he'll be welcome back with open arms, certainly for a tour anytime soon.
100%.
I hope he's already kind of looking into it because it's fully deserved, and he will quite happily get a decent sort of. Some of the smaller size venues around kind of London and Manchester and Glasgow will definitely kind of fill out for him.
Yeah, and then after Breeding on Friday night was the Gun Show, the most ripped man in country music. He should be headlining that festival in his own right, let alone being a sub. He was like, I was really late onto the party with Kip, but I think once you kind of get it, it's like he's just so good. Like it really was just such a great set. A set where a lot of songs that people knew and just big and loud like he does, and it's just his voice is great. Always puts on a great show. And yeah, I think that again that would be the fact of the three people that we saw on the main stage on Friday, because they were all so good, to try and actually pick between the three of them is so hard. But I just kind of think that Russell, because I wasn't expecting him to be that good.
No, because I've only seen him once before when he supported Darius at the Albert Hall. So yeah, and again, I didn't go in expecting much from him. I thought he was quite good. Whereas Kip Moore, I first saw 7 years back. I think it was the first time he came over, and I met him actually the next night in the corner at a Sam Hunt gig in London. And since then, and again, before 7 years ago, I didn't know who he was really. I think everyone knew something about a truck, but that was it. And yeah, since then, I think I followed him. He's probably been that one artist I've followed really closely over those 7 years. And yeah, the progress he's made, the extent that he's gone to, the fan base, the commitment he's had over here. Obviously, he was Long Road Festival headliner 2019, and he's certainly fully deserved number 2 slot on that main stage. And as you said, could easily be number 1 next time he's over, which I'm one for.
I definitely think he should be. Just the amount of people that were saying that, it's like he delivered at Long Road. He's like, his fan base here is really strong, and yeah, he puts on a great show. But the fact that the person that he had following him on that stage, like I'm a huge Miranda fan. I always have been for a long time. So it's been a while since he's been over here. So to be able to get to hear a lot of songs off Wildcard, off that record for the first time, to get to hear some new music. She played some of the hits, all the ones going right back through. You had Kerosene, and you kind of had House That Built Me, and just all these sort of things from the back. And it was just, I thought it was great. And I say I'm a huge Miranda fan, always have been, and it was great to have her back, and hopefully it's not too long again before she comes, because like we said, she's got a new album on the way in April. So fingers crossed that kind of within the next 12 months that we might be able to hear some more of that.
And again, I think she's the kind of, we can kind of hope that something similar to Keith Urban, in that we can get her maybe a European tour with a couple of days across the country. So again, she would fill out some decent venues around the country. I do think it does show, though, I think we're very spoiled here with some of these artists.
Oh, massively.
Like, for me, seeing Kit Moore, I made the comment to someone, I'm used to seeing him with 1,500 people. And you're there like, oh, it's a really big state. And you feel really far back because you've been so spoiled over the years. When actually, well, no, this is actually what he should be playing. And and it's fully deserved. Yeah, and we're just so lucky that we do only have these 1,500, 2,000 people venues for these artists to be playing.
Yeah. So that was the main stage, and the songwriters. I'd say I did some stuff on Wednesday, which involved bad decisions, which we won't talk about. And like the main thing we put all our focus on before, and I think we'd said this, and it's something I'd said to a lot of the other guys that were coming the weekend when I spoke to like Dan Wharton from Your Life in a Song, and like James from Lyric, and like Laura from Entertainment Focus, and like Alison and Georgie, Helen. It's like, because you put so much thought and time into the guys that we're going to get to speak to, or that people might not be familiar with, you know, you kind of get to that point of forgetting until very close to it. It's like, oh shit, we're actually going to see Kip and Miranda, or you're going to see Luke Combs, or you're going to see Darius or Ashley McBride or whatever. Because, like, as you know, in our last video, which is a beautiful lead in as we're about to do, we did our sort of way of previewing acts that were not on the main stage, that were kind of our must sort of do to pick out. So my picks, I had Morgan Way, I had Walker County, I had Maxdell, I had Seaforth, I had Callista Clark, I had Caitlin Smith, and I also had Willie Jones. So by the kind of the nature that Willie didn't end up coming over,
you are allowed to trade.
I get a retrospective.
Yes.
Yeah, I get a retrospective repick, which makes life a lot easier, sort of knowing that like who was my highlight. And I spoke to him about a week or two ago, and I just thought they were great guys to talk to, and then got to see them on stage yesterday. And I think that Everett are a band that a lot of people are now very, very big fans of. That their style's so cool. I think it appeals to people in the like modern country style, and also kind of more traditional country style. And I don't think there are a lot of artists that played C2C that had that balance completely. Like we sort of said before, it's like, you know, Shy Carter is somebody that I really liked, but I know he won't be everybody else's cup of tea. And equally, you know, there'll be some people that like, you know, some people would have been, you know, wowed by Russell Dickerson, but other people might not do, because it's so different in sound. And I think that's the thing about music, that everything's so subjective, that what, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, you know, and it's like not everyone can be a fan of the same thing. And it's, you know, like I said before, a lot of people queue for the Shires. It's like, that's not, you know, not one for me to do. But, you know, equally, there'd be a lot of people in there that kind of might not have been so high on, you know, Breland, or high on like Caitlin Smith, or whoever it might be. Just, you know, a lot of artists are very different, and that's cool. And I think you sort of saw that over the weekend, that there were big crowds for everyone when they were playing during the days. But say Everett for me are a band that I think we're going to be hearing a lot about, and I know that some people that organise things over here also were very big fans of them. So fingers crossed that, you know, they're not too far off coming back again.
And I saw them walking around a bit, and they seemed very down to earth, chatting with people, taking photos, which is what you want to see.
They look really cool, but like effortlessly cool is like the thing about them. So like Brent and Anthony. So when we put the you know, on the website, we've got kind of a C2C section where all the kind of interviews are going to be. But you know, they were really cool guys to talk to, and I think, you know, they definitely won a lot of fans starting on Thursday and going all the way through. And then the kind of other ones, like I didn't actually see Matt Stell, who was kind of one of my picks, and so we did see him. We saw him sat at the bar at the Blue Room.
We can't miss him. He's about 7 foot tall.
He is like the tallest man ever. Like I saw, like my friend Adrina, who works for Countryline, she posted a picture next to him, and it looked like sort of like a scene from the Lord of the Rings, where you've got like a hobbit and like this giant. which is exactly the same as when I met Eric Pasley a couple of years ago. Because again, a very, very tall man, and it's like if you are a bloke that's a little bit shorter, it's like just looks silly. And but I say, like, you know, again, a lot of people liked what they heard of Matt. I think he's great as an artist. I think he's going to be a huge star, not just in terms of height, but you know, he's already kind of well on the way to getting good big things. But you know, all the other acts that I sort of picked, I was pretty sold on. And I think the other thing as well, so like Calista Clark becomes my de facto first pick, so becomes the first pick in the draft essentially, and I 100% think that is something that a lot of people will share. I spoke to her on Zoom last year, like a lot of people did. Comes across very well. Saw her on stage in a round that Big Machine put on the Wednesday night. And the first thing that strikes you about this girl, she's just turned 18 now, and her stage presence is just so strong for someone that is, you know, that young and kind of new to the sort of business. She sat on this round with next to Brett Young, and like, if you didn't know better, you genuinely would have thought that she was like the big star that's been kind of, you know, doing things for so long. Just the way how assured and how much presence she is. She's got a great voice. You listen to her and you hear a lot of Maren Morris, and you know, she just the way she owns the stage. I don't, for someone that was just playing acoustic guitar on her own. It's something that, you know, I haven't seen before, and you know, I got to speak to her on Thursday afternoon as well. Had a really great chat. We talked a lot about ways of making coffee and watching people making coffee and how Starbucks tastes different here. But we did actually talk about other things, and she's got quite a bit of new music that's going to be coming on the way. But again, I think she's someone that, you know, from what people were talking about, she ticks a lot of boxes, justifies all the hype and what comes behind her, and I think she's going to be a huge star. Genuinely, as she's, you know, her career is going to go on and on and on, and you just sort of think it's like the fact that she's only a teenager still, she's going to just keep getting better and better and better, and she's going to have more things she can write about as well. So that's cool. But your number one pick as well, the two pick in the draft, you did really well there.
I'm quite happy about them. So watching, so I got to catch Jess Moskalik. Well, you caught her Friday, didn't you? I think it was. Yeah. And I saw her twice on Saturday. I caught her twice on Saturday. And I have to admit, part of me was like, why on earth is this girl not on the spotlight stage? I think that was the only thing I could ask myself, because one, like the big entrance one was packed, and the security were just constantly moving people. So they had a walkway. If you weren't at C2C, they had a walkway kind of thing marked out, and security were just constantly moving people from this walkway. They were just stopped to see her.
They were very quick. They were very quick at moving you if you were the wrong side of the white tape.
You had to be the right side of the white tape. Now watch out for that white tape. Seriously.
Oh yeah, massively. It's like when you go out to like clubs and like as a smoker, when you go out to clubs and bars, it's like if you stand the wrong side of the line, and like the bouncers, like they're just like, it's like you need to stand the other side of the naughty line and submit your shame. But
then anyway, when I got moved over the white line, 6 foot the other way, there's no white line. So I'm like, well, what's the point? The white line just ends. So I didn't quite get the white line personally. But no, she will, as I say, surely be back in a couple of years on the spotlight stage, if not doing some kind of tour of her own, because the what's the outside one called? Town Square. The Town Square stage was rammed, and it was absolutely packed out for her. It was the same for Tebe, and I just think the queue, we're quite fortunate in that we kind of get to sneak in the back to these venues, because we are kind of expected to be hopping around the stages, so we do kind of get a bit of a queue jump. And the queue to get into Town Hall for both Tebe, I went in maybe about 10 minutes before they started, the pair of them. Both times the queue was back to the exit. So we're talking about Snake the whole way, and inside was round. So I think Jess is surely going to be back. We didn't get a chance to catch up for over the weekend. So hopefully I do get to say hello to tomorrow night. I say when I go to see her set tomorrow. So I will make sure I do say hello. But yeah, I'm very happy with my number one pick. I think it was fully justified. Yeah. And well, you were saying Friday you took a couple of friends to see her.
Yeah, I took people over.
Who she was.
No, they had no idea. They're like never seen it. All of them are like literally straight away following her on her socials and like, you know, kind of getting everything sort of, you know, downloaded or whatever through like streams and things. But she's like she's, you know, what was CCMA's female vocalist of the year for like, you know, 2 or 3 years running, kind of, you know, before Tennille and Megan Patrick.
We're talking platinum songs. The one I'd forgotten, the fact I'd forgotten last week is she was when she went platinum, and she mentioned this at the weekend, she was the first Canadian female singer to go platinum since Shania Twain. So that's it. That was like the only other Canadian female country singer to have a platinum single in Canada was Shania Twain.
She was playing all of her sets full band, and it was just absolutely rocking. Like, just really, really was. It was just like up tempo. It was loud. It was just banger after banger after banger, and it's like.
I think to me that's showing the commitment they want to have. I think over here as well, they want to make that impact. I know Tave, we spoke to him Saturday, and he was saying the same, that he started off the first couple of shows he did was acoustic, and he was saying that he will always be a full band now. That is that is his show, and I think Jess would be the same. That she's so used to doing that full band show. She's at that level in Canada and America that she has to do full band, and I think went full out, and very happy she did. I stand by. Cheap Wine and Cigarettes should still be Jamie's official anthem because it is perfect for you.
Oh, it's just brand is thriving.
And then one of my other Canadian picks did probably my favourite song of the weekend was Tim Hicks.
I saw somebody like post a story on Insta that he sort of changed the words to like one of his songs.
So basically, he's got a song called Stronger Beer. And the concept of the song, I love it. It basically takes the piss out of America. And effectively, one of the lines is, you know, it takes you 9 beers to get piss drunk. It takes me 5. It's something like that. They make fun of like the rules of American football being different. They make fun of, you know, how they spell color. But basically, he changed some of the words, and it was, you know, he changed the words to make it that England actually had stronger beer than Canada. And I think it was something like, it takes me 5 beers to get piss drunk. It takes you 3 pints or something. It was something like that. But yeah, definitely. I'm annoyed I didn't film it. I have seen a video somewhere online of it. But yeah, definitely one of my favourite highlights of songs, and just the quirkiness of the song, I think, for the weekend.
Yeah. Who else did you catch on Saturday? Because we went to the Tennille show.
We did Tennille. I saw Shy Carter, obviously Alex Hall at Tennille, Tim Hicks, Jess Moskaluk. I saw Tave. Had to get in for that one. And who did I see before I left to be on dad duty? I watched someone. I can't remember.
You came to see my new best friend.
I came to see.
So you came to see the lovely, the adorable Lacey K. Booth.
Lacey K. Booth and Ruthie. We saw a bit of, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, and Harley Moon. Harley Moon Kemp. I think she was about one of the.
Oh, we did go and see Harley. Yeah.
Harley Moon. Yeah, I didn't see too many. I think because I do feel a bit bad for the UK. Actually, a lot of them were tucked around the corner, and I think that's the one thing CC probably does need to improve in future years, is actually where they put the UK acts. Because other than the ones on the big entrance stage, I think the rest, it felt like they were a little bit shoved around the corner. And you had to make a lot of effort trying to get around there. And there wasn't many.
There was some stuff that I sort of found with the stages. Like they put in a brand new stage, a garden stage, which I really liked. That was where I saw Jess on Friday. And I saw Everett and Ruthie there yesterday, and I just really liked it. I think it's a good space. It's well used. It's, you know, it sounded good. When people walked past it, there seemed to be really big crowds and stuff getting there, so that was great. They put the Icon stage into the pub, which was where we saw Harley in the morning, and it wasn't.
Well, it's too close, wasn't it? It was as soon as Harley came
on. The noise from outside.
You had the noise from outside. You had the noise from the bowling alley opposite. I know it was a last minute change, and normally that Icon stage is it's tucked quite up out the way in the shopping centre. But you could hear the garden. If you had a full band on the garden stage, you could hear it. and like the drums were very clear, weren't they, when we were in for Harley Moon?
I have news about the shopping centre that I saw today, almost breaking news, that it's reopening on Friday.
Well, that doesn't help me. I don't ever go for the
No, I know it doesn't help, but it's just, it's a fascinating fact to share. So like we sort of touched on, like Lacey K. Booth, a girl from out Texas, was an American Idol a couple of years back.
She seemed very humble to be here, I would say. I think she was very...
She's very angelic to listen to. It's like the way I'd sort of said when I spoke to her was it reminds me a lot of the like Sarah Darling, like Dream Country kind of era. So if you haven't listened to Lacey yet, it's a good sort of pointer. She played all of her stuff just her on a guitar, like acoustic on a guitar, which is, considering you've seen a lot of people that are playing very, very heavy full bands and stuff. And you've got her who's this kind of very dreamy sort of sound, just sort of, sat on the stool and sort of playing. It was great. And she was a really, really, really enjoyable interview. One of the most enjoyable interviews I can remember. And so it was just sort of really nice to, just be able to kind of see her. And I think that, she's somebody else that will have, gained a lot of fans. And it was really nice seeing quite a few of her sets as well, that like she already had people that were singing along to her. So, and she was mind blown like by that. And it's like, even though like she was aware that people here could do that when you haven't played it before, to actually sort of see it in person.
I think, and she had a very honest reaction, didn't she, when people were making there was one request for a song, and it was a very honest reaction.
It's like, okay.
Shock that she was like, that song? Why would you know that song? And it was, a very honest reaction to it, which I love to see. And I just don't think it was definitely not something she expected at all. 100%.
Yeah. And sort of other acts that I saw across the weekend, I saw Jarrett Ray Reddick, who
I didn't. He was one of my picks that I did not see. Because I was hoping
the
train scuppered my plan.
What I liked was he explained why he's using his middle name, because he's like, if people just Googled Jarrett Reddick, they would just hear songs by a man making fart jokes, essentially. So he's the lead singer of Bowling for Soup, and he's doing his country project, which sounds exactly like you think it will be. Bowling for Soup doing a country project is the best way to describe it.
That isn't out. So he has got the album out. The album did come out on Friday, didn't it? I think, for the EP. Something. I'm sure he released something on Friday.
Friday or the week?
It was this week. It was definitely this weekend. He was releasing some music. Yeah. So I lied. I did know a release on Friday. There you go.
Well done.
That is it.
But yeah, he was playing to massive crowds like both times. Like people couldn't get into the town square when he played, and like the entrance stage was heaving, and it was just fun. It's just.
I think they took a big gamble on him, didn't they? Obviously, not knowing the music, nothing being released, and to put him on that town square stage was okay. He's got the name, but even still, it's if you don't know Bowling for Soup, if you're not of our kind of age, you wouldn't know Bowling. If you were younger, you wouldn't really know Bowling for Soup. You might not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to say his surname. I could have said Jarrett from Bowling for Soup, but I couldn't have told you. And that's only because I met them when I was like 21. That I couldn't have told you the surname or anything. So I think they took a big gamble on him being a success as a country artist, not as singing 1985.
Yeah.
Which I do love.
Yeah, he wasn't doing any of the big Bowling for Soup bangers.
You see, part of me hoped you would do a bit of like Tave does for Wake Me Up. If he puts the country twist on Wake Me Up, I did kind of hope, would there be a country twist on a Bowling for Soup anthem? That was.
Well, there wasn't 1985 or Go All the Bad Guys One. There might have been kind of like one of the others, but yeah. And then the only other people I saw, we haven't really talked about the UK acts and stuff. Like I said, that Morgan Way played 2 sets on Sunday, great crowds, both of them, great energy as they always do. Kezia seemed to have like the biggest crowds of anybody whatsoever over the weekend. Like if you want to put a UK artist on that pedestal and say this is who you want people to listen to because they're so good, she just confirmed that like over the weekend. And yeah, like I say, her crowds were insane where she was playing. So that was incredible to see. We sort of mentioned about Harley, or Harley Moon Camp. She played like acoustic when we saw her. I kind of walked past a little bit and caught when she had a full band on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So that was good to see her too. And then I say there was plenty of other people around. Sort of walked past. It's like, oh, who's that? Didn't quite hear. I've not sort of heard much of them before. I saw, when I was sort of walking around, I saw a bit of Ellery. I can't pronounce her surname, but I'd never listened to her before. She's a Welsh girl, but I'd heard of her and seen kind of things on socials, but she was decent, good. So that was quite a nice sort of new one to sort of catch a bit of more UK sort of talent and stuff. We forgot about Friday's after party, which the after party we didn't go to, Walker County as well.
Oh yes.
Which was really, really good.
I don't think I've ever got the last tube out of the O2, so I'm quite proud of myself there. It might have taken me like an hour and a half to get home, but it probably was worth staying for.
But they were great. A lot of people were saying really good things about them. But I sort of said when we did our sort of preview pick that it's just sort of different sound. Ivy and Sophie, lead singer playing guitar, a sister on drums doing.
But then she can sing as well. I hadn't really realised she.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and they did an acoustic set, didn't they, on Sunday? I think. I'm sure I saw them post about an acoustic set, and it was she was away from the drums, singing the whole time.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it's like when we saw on Friday night, like they did a cover of like "Alone" by Heart, and it was like, oh my god, that is so good. And it's like, it's always sort of cool when people do like sort of covers that are a big song like that, because you always sort of think, oh god, it's like how badly can this go? But like, it was awesome, and I'll say they were cool, and I think they're someone that I heard a lot of people talking about as well, which is really, really good. And when we went and saw them on a Friday as well, that's the other thing. A lot of the people that were there seeing them, rather than going to the official kind of after party, did seem to kind of be sort of like UK industry type guys as well. So it sort of shows that that not just the fans are liking them, but hopefully sort of big things are with them. I saw C4 with their after party last night. They're just comic genius. At one point, and they were sort of talking, and it's like, oh, it's great to be here in Dublin, and it's like I'd forgotten where they were because where they've moved around.
They've been this is their first time in London as well, isn't it? But yeah, they've been everywhere this weekend. They've clocked up the miles.
And it's like when he sort of made a mess and forgot what it was. It's just like mock him, make him sort of know. And they did like live music taboo for any performer, but still owned it. So they did Wonderwall, and everyone was hammered. So sung along, so that was great. And the favourite thing they have discovered while they've been over here is get in. So putting a lot of focus on that. So I've sort of seen they sort of kept doing it on stage, and like a lot of their social posts and stuff, but they're like just pure genius. So get in, C4, and come back and see us again soon. And the last person I saw, I met her. I saw her in Nashville 2018 first time, and again 2019 when I went over to CMA. We sort of spoke on Zoom, and then we'd sort of kind of become like sort of good friends and stuff through Insta. And so I got to kind of like, me and Reef got to properly meet in person. And it was just so lovely. And to see again a lot of people coming for her. It's like, I know it means a lot to a lot of people to be playing in the UK for the first time, but I really knew how much it meant for Ruthie Collins to actually be here. She tried to come over like during the pandemic, and there was kind of a window where shows could happen. And while she was sort of isolating and doing her quarantine, they kind of shut everything down again. So she was here for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and just played an online stream was the only show she could do. So it's so nice to kind of see her. We caught up kind of later on in her proper sort of chat, which is really nice. And she's going to be opening for Sam Outlaw starting this Thursday on the 9 dates, but she's also playing in Sam's band because Sam's doing like a 3-piece kind of acoustic sort of setup for his shows. So if you're not already planning to go and see Sam Outlaw, there's the shows here, there and everywhere. There's Glasgow, there's Bristol, there's one in Hassocks near Brighton, Milton Keynes, like here, there, and everywhere over like a 2-week spell. So get onto that. But yeah, it was so nice to see Ruthie. And yeah, anyone that saw her that didn't really know too much about her already, I think they realise why. I just think she's a wonderful human being and an incredibly talented vocalist. But yeah, that was our C2C, really.
There's one person you haven't mentioned yet on Saturday. That happened on Saturday night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You'd be really clever.
Well, no, but we can't. Well, no. Well, to be fair, what I was going to say, I'd mentioned it because she actually texted me while we were recording.
I think you need to send the link. Like, right, join us now, and we get the gossip.
So what happened was I'd obviously gone home like on Saturday night, and I was laying in bed, and probably about I don't know, like 20 to 11, so when Darius was coming towards the end of his set, and someone that I used to work with ages and ages ago that I hadn't really spoken to properly for a while, but you're still like Facebook and Instagram friends and all that, and because I hang around with her quite a bit and stuff, she'd sort of seen that that someone was a friend of mine. So I got a message, like checked it, it was like on Facebook Messenger. It's like, hi, is that your friend Lucy on stage with Darius Rucker? And it's just sort of like, I'm currently in bed, I have no idea whatsoever. And then I've just sort of seen like all my other friends, like socials kind of exploding, like about the fact that Lucy Blue like went on stage with Darius Rucker to sing Wagon Wheel, kind of towards the end of his headline set. And I feel really, really bad and like a really shit friend, obviously, for not being there.
Well, I was more like, also, we were chatting to her like Saturday lunchtime as well.
No, but I think what surprises me most is the fact that, because I know Blue really well, and she's exactly the same as me. If she's got a secret, she hates the idea, hates the idea of secrets. So fair play for her keeping her mouth shut. Because I know how excited she'd have been about it, and again, just sort of seeing like pics and videos and stuff, it looked amazing, and it's great. Just that whole sort of thing to again show that the girls here, especially, or artists in the UK, can really, really do great things.
So is she now the first UK artist to play the main stage at C2C?
I don't know. Sort of going back.
Yeah, I think it might be, because it would have been the Shires were meant to have obviously replaced Old Dominion, but that never happened.
I know the Shires and Ward Thomas had both played the Spotlight stage before, but I'm not entirely sure if they had played
a song or supporting a song on the main stage. She could well be.
We will look to confirm that. We'll look to confirm or deny that statement, but
right. So it's now down to you to get on to our next show.
Onto our what?
Onto our next episode.
Yeah. Well, I said that she texted me during the middle of it. She was asking me for someone's details, and it's like, well, I need to ask you after. Do you have them? Which probably do. But yeah, it was fun. C2C, say we only went in on Friday. We enjoyed the daytime stuff. It was amazing. And like we said before, if you go there without a ticket, like you could still, you couldn't get into the Indigo or you couldn't get into the Town Square, but the amount of talent that was on the others and just a great advert for country music. And the fact we put on a festival, that I'd stressed kind of last time, that 23 artists in the main arena, 13 of them are women, unheard of in the States. And when you sort of throw in that you had, you've got Breland, you had Shai Carter, you had Brittany Spencer, you had Darius Rucker, and, a lot more, and black artists, which it's great to sort of see that. I think in the past, like that only like Darius played twice, and just to see that there was, we are not just saying to the people in Nashville, hey, we really want to support artists, that diversity, we want to support the women, but the fact that people can actually see that practical steps are being taken, and exactly the same things happen in the long road with that lineup, what Balin's kind of put on with that. And also, just as the perfect way to end the show, shout out to Balin Leonard, because, well, firstly, because he shamefully admitted that he'd listened to our rambling before, but also CMA award-winning Balin Leonard, we need to kind of be adding, because he won International Broadcaster of the Year for the CMA. So well done to Balin.
Well done, Balin Leonard.
And yeah, so
what started 9 years ago in an arena that was for 2 days. You literally went straight in the arena. There was maybe 8,000 people there, and I might be pushing it with that because the upper bowl definitely was not open. Has now grown in 9 years to easily 19, close to 20. It was easily close to sold out. We are probably talking 20,000 people in there. The outside stages were just packed. We're talking 10:30 in the morning. There was people there, and how it's grown in 9 years is just insane. I don't know at what point, if there is a bigger, at what point can they move to a bigger venue? I don't think there's a bigger indoor venue.
I don't think there's any. Well, there isn't a venue bigger. Firstly, I don't think there's a venue that logistically can make the stuff work. No. So
it is just
like we saw. Yeah,
it's just going to get bigger. And I don't quite know how they can get bigger without doing more, taking up more space outside, more stages outside.
Yeah, I was thinking that could they make the town square bigger, but there's no really kind of way to expand it. So the only other sort of way is literally just to put an acoustic stage outside, and it'd be freezing cold, and no one would want to play it.
Right. So you just need a second tent. They almost need now 2 tents outside. More, taking up more. And I think they're just going to next year. They just got to cram in as much as they can because, and obviously, I know there will be some people this year who would have come over from mainland Europe because obviously we're the only ones hosting it this year, and I'm sure that will have an effect next year. But it was mad, like the amount of people there, having been there for Carrie Underwood that first year, and it was like it wasn't tumbleweeds, but it was. I got a third row ticket that first year, no problem whatsoever. It was easy to get a ticket. They were fairly cheap tickets at the time. It was like 60 quid for a third row ticket at C2C, which seems absolutely mad talking about it now.
Whereas now it's about 30 grand or whatever it is, or it's probably not. Well, it's not that much, but it's obviously gone up. Which shows the popularity for it.
I will stick with my voucher. What is the point in having floor seating other than to make money? Because no one was sat down. It did seem totally pointless. That the only time people sat down,
I don't know. I'm quite. I don't know. From when you've been to a lot of gigs at the O2 and things, the idea of having a full-on mosh pit, like if I'm guessing that it's either Dublin or Glasgow where the floor is all standing. So if people really wanted to kind of do that, I'd recommend to go over. But I'm not.
Yeah, Berlin was. Yeah, Berlin was standing.
It's like at the O2, it's not something that I'm a big fan of.
No, I don't think it would work there anyway.
No, but it's like I said, in terms of what things were. Love the garden stage. I think it's a great addition. I think definitely the UK acts stood their own, and what's to say that it wouldn't be the worst thing possible to see some more of those on the the spotlight stage, or take a chance on one of them. Like I said, the size of the crowd that Kezia was attracting, and when we've sort of seen her before, it's like man, I'd happily go and see Kezia Gill on the main stage. I'd happily see, to see Morgan Way. I'd happily see, Laura Oakes or people like that. I think, there is so much talent. Even Ward Thomas when they're playing full band. That's like I really like what the Twins do when they do their full band stuff. And it's like none of them would be out of place at all. And like we said, tickets go on sale Friday. We're really, really excited. Can't wait. And how the fuck have we talked for an hour? Like,
here we go.
Seen that time. Yep.
We do apologise.
That's perfect sort of fitting time to stop, actually, just to kind of bang on. That's that. Anyway, adios, amigos.
I hope you all enjoyed the weekend.
Yeah. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.